You slept through that whole card. You did. Didn't you know it's not nap time? It's not nap time. It's craft time. All right, I'll leave you alone. Have a good nap. I love you.
Hi, this is Jenna with Brown Dog Craft Company, and today we're making 2 adorable forest friend cards. These cards are sort of generic. They could be celebration cards of any sort. They could be birthday cards or baby cards or kid birthday cards. They aren't specifically birthday. They just end up saying more than happy for you, or happier than happy for you. So first I'm going to go through, this is a Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper pack, and it has these cute forest scenes in it. So I'm going to pick 2 different forest scenes. One of them has like some mountains in the background, and the other one is some birch trees. So it's really fun when you can find a pattern paper that you can use for your background, and you don't really have to add a lot to it because it already has so much detail. So I trimmed these out. These are slightly smaller than an A2 card panel. They're trimmed 1/4 inch off of the left side and the top side. And then I took these large sticked rectangle stackables from Lawn Fawn, and I took the largest, which gives you an A2 card front, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I die cut those out from some Stampin' Up! Cardstock using Mossy Meadow and Tip Top Taupe, which is an older cardstock. I think both of them might be an older cardstock, it looks like. But they went perfectly with the pattern paper. So hopefully with some of the cardstock colors that Stampin' Up! Is coming out with soon for their color refresh, hopefully there'll be something in there that is close to these 2 colors. So here's the stamp set. It's called Happier Than Happy, and they are red rubber cling, and they do have coordinating dies. So here are the dies. They're called Happy Forest. They cut out pretty much everything in the stamp set, except for like the little grassy hill, and then the sentiments don't have any coordinating dies. So here I'm taking some brown cardstock from my stash, and I'm going to cut out some of the dies. So there's a tree and a log and some cute little acorns. And then here I'm taking the bear from the stamp set. And these stamps are unique in that they already have the shading done for you. So just by taking one color, so for the bear I'm going to take Soft Suede. I'm going to stamp him twice because he's going to be on both my cards today. But just by stamping in one color one time, you get some variation in the shading that I've never seen before in one stamp with one color. Normally, you either have to use layering stamps or you have to use different shades of ink on one stamp. So I was pleasantly surprised when I lifted up the door to my Misty and saw this cute little shaded bear here waving hello. So I'll flip my paper over. I'll stamp him again. I'm going to stamp this cute little owl in gray granite. You'll see this is a new piece of cardstock. I did stamp the bear, the second bear, originally in the darker color ink of Early Espresso, but I didn't like it as much as the Soft Suede. So I just cut that part of the video out. But sometimes we stamp something and we don't like it, and that's okay. We just stamp it again. It's just paper. So there's the cute little owl. And then I'm going to take this little like leafy sprig or small plant, whatever it might be. Oh, there you can see the darker bear. that I stamped an early espresso. I did die cut him out still, and I'm just going to keep him in the packaging because I might find a use for him later. So I'm going to take some Mossy Meadow, which is the same color of the cardstock on one of the cards. And I found it was easier, since I wanted to stamp multiple of these little sprigs, to just use my clear block, and the stamps stamp beautifully since they're red rubber cling. And even these little sprigs have shading to them. So such a small, delicate stamp. And it just, yeah, I just love this set. It's so cute and easy to put a quick card together. So I'm going to have 3 for each card, so I'll do 6 of those. And then I'm showing you this part in real time, and total from start to finish to put the cards together, it only took me 1 hour. So that doesn't include any sort of, you know, planning time as far as going through what I wanted to do and what stamp set I wanted to use and whatnot, but you know, I just sort of picked the product suite and started crafting, and these cards came together really quick. So I'm going to stamp a few butterflies. I'll use Calypso Coral and Bumblebee. I think those are both old colors too. So sort of a muted yellow and a pinky orange. So there'll be 2 butterflies on each card, 1 of each color. And there is a die for them. So you can die cut out these cute little butterflies. Then I'm going to take, there are 2 mushroom stamps, 1 larger and 1 smaller. And I'm going to stamp those in Cherry Cobbler. Stamp those a couple times. Each card will have 1 big one and 2 small ones. I'm just cleaning my stamps off here on a microfiber cloth when I'm done stamping. Here are all the stamped images, and now I'm going to pull out the dies, and I will line everything up. I'll use some post-it tape to hold everything in place while I run it all through my die cut machine. These were pretty easy to line up too. Even the teeny little mushrooms and butterflies were easy to line up. And on this owl, it even die cuts out his little legs and feet. So get that one lined up there. And ta-da, everything is die cut out. So here I am going to lay everything out. So you can kind of see my thought process on start to finish on where everything should go and what looks best. So here I've got these little trees that I cut out. I've got this little stump I'm going to put on one card with the owl sitting on top. Now the stump doesn't, oh, the stump does have a stamp. Now that I notice that now, I kind of wish I would have stamped the stump and die cut it out, but that's alright. The card has lots of texture. So here on the other card, I think I'll put the owl somewhere in the trees. Maybe put some mushrooms down here, sort of hidden behind the stump. Maybe put the happier than happy for you sentiment up in the corner. It sort of looks like the bear is waving to the owl. So I'm going to take some early espresso and some white cardstock. I'm just using Neenah Solar White. I like the 110 pound. I'm showing you a, let's see, that's Tip Top Taupe. I didn't like the Tip Top Taupe for the sentiment, so we're just going to stick with white. So I'm going to put some paper, some cardstock in my MISTI, put the sentiment in, and then when I'm stamping all of these images in my MISTI, since they are red rubber cling, I'm removing that foam mat that comes in your MISTI. You don't need it. So I'm going to stamp that sentiment, and then I am going to die cut it out using another die set. It's a standalone die set from Stampin' Up! Called Stitched Shapes dies. And it has squares and circles and ovals, and they have cute stitching on them. So stitching on the outside of the card, stitching on the sentiment. I love stitching, especially on cutesy cards like this. It just adds so much character. So I'm going to stamp that off to the right, not in the center. So when I die cut the circles, I die cut a second circle, and then I have a sticky mat in my MISTI, so I can just stick the circle right in anywhere without a magnet and line up my stamp, and it works great. So here I have both of them stamped, and I die cut all these cute little green leaf sprigs, and I just couldn't figure out where to put them. So I thought, why not group them together in 3 and add a little mushroom, and then put it on the left side of the sentiment there. I knew there was a reason why I stamped the sentiment off to the right. Sometimes things just come together in ways you don't expect. So I'll just use some liquid glue and my tweezers. I think my glue was clogged here. So I'll just add a little bit of glue on the back of each sprig and line it up here. Start with the center one and work my way out. And then we'll take this little mushroom, put a little bit of glue on the back of him, and put him right in the center. Whoops, he didn't want to stick. Stay down, little mushroom. And then I'm going to repeat it for the other oval. And like magic, they're both done. Now I'll take the layer of the stump, and it didn't line up exactly perfectly with the base layer, and now I'm realizing, because I think the base layer is meant to cut out the stamped image, but either way, it looks cute. It's sort of abstract, and I like it. So we'll add a mushroom. It's going to kind of peek out from behind the little stump here. Add some foam squares, and then add our second little mushroom. I don't know what it is about mushrooms, but they're everywhere, like crafting. They're everywhere in crafting these days. Here I'll add some foam squares to the owl. And see his cute little legs? Put him on the stump, like he's talking to the bear maybe. And then I'll work on the left side of the card. So I'll put a little bit of liquid glue here on the trees and put those down on the card. And then I'll add foam squares to the back of the bear. And for the life of me, I had a package of large foam squares out and already opened, but I could not find it, so I opened another one. The little ones are fine, they work the same, but when you're taking the backers off, I can't stand taking the backers off of foam, but it's just necessary. I like dimension, and I like to use a lot of foam. I like to use a lot of foam squares, so the bigger foam squares are definitely easier. I'll add some more foam squares behind the sentiment and pop that up. And then we'll pop that down. And can't forget about these cute little butterflies. So I'm going to add little foam squares to the back of their little bodies. Definitely need some tweezers to hold these guys. And then I'll figure out where they should go. And eventually I couldn't really decide where to put them, so I just took the backer off, and sort of wherever my hand landed is where they went. I didn't overthink it. So, alright, card 1 almost entirely assembled. Move on to card 2 now, and I'm pretty much going to repeat the process. Most of the things are in the same place, except I only did one stump, and that's on the other card. So on this one, I'm going to take some trees, and where the stump is, I'll put the trees. So I'll put the first tree down, and then I had 2 trees left over, and I like to do odd numbers on my cards if I can. Not on everything, like obviously there's 2 butterflies on each card, but I wanted to keep it to 3 trees, so I glued 2 of the trees together so they had a little bit of dimension before I then glued it down onto the card. And then there were these cute little acorn outlines that come in the die, and there is a little acorn stamp too. And I guess I'm not entirely sure if it's meant to cut out the acorns. I feel like it might cut out some of the detail of the stamp if you use the die to cut out the stamped acorn. But they were really cute, so I cut those out of some brown cardstock. The same cardstock that I cut the stump out of. And I'll add those to this card. Here's our cute bear. He's pretty much going in the same spot. More foam to Mr. Owl. And he looks really cute on top of the trees there. And then I like to tuck these small details behind larger details. So I'm going to kind of tuck the 2 mushrooms for this card behind the bear. Almost like he's walking in front of them. And they're behind him, just like the trees are behind him. And here are those cute acorns I was talking about. They're very delicate and very small, but very cute. So I have 2 in dark brown and 1 in a light brown. That might be the Tip Top taupe color. It was just in my scrap bin, so. Can't forget the butterflies on this card, so I'm going to add some more foam squares, add those to the card, and then I'll add foam to the sentiment here also. We'll sort of frame the sentiment with these butterflies. I feel like the left side of the card just needed something there. put the sentiment on there. Very cute. So now I'm going to take the card front panels and I'm going to take my double-sided tape. I like Altenews 1/2 inch Ultra Stick double-sided tape for this. It sticks to the card really well, and it's really easy to peel the backer off, which is definitely a plus. So I'll put both of the pieces onto the card front panels, and then here I have a little clay hearts. So they're brown little hearts. They're called Coffee Bean Heart Sprinkles. They're from Trinity Stamps, so each sentiment will get a little brown heart after it. And then these little gold pearls are from Pretty Pink Posh. They're the metallic gold. And they come in maybe 3 or 4 sizes in the little container. So I like the smallest and the medium. I don't know if they're like 1mm and 3mm or 3mm and 5mm, but they're my favorite. And they always fall to the bottom, so you have to dump out half your container to find them. But the triangle trays make it really easy to funnel all of your embellishments back in when you're done. So I'll add 5 of those to each card. No rhyme or reason, just sort of scattering them about the card wherever I thought they would look good. I try to not overthink embellishment placement. I try not to overthink card making in general. So I put them almost in the same spot on each card. You know, the card layout is a little bit different for each one, but pretty close. Add some in the corner there. My favorite glue for doing this is the Bearly Arts glue. There's a fine point precision tip that you can buy to put on the end, and it generally stays unclogged with just the pin in the top. It's a very like fine glue. It's not thick, which I like. See how easy it is to funnel those right back in? As long as you don't spill. Don't ask me how I know. And there we are. There's both cards. One with the green background and one with the taupe background. I think they both turned out really great. Thanks for joining today. I'm not done yet. Glossy accents. Sometimes you forget from the time you make the cards till the time you talk about making the cards what came next. So I added glossy accents to all of the butterflies. So it goes on cloudy, but when it dries clear. All right, now I've finished the cards. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had fun, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a good day.